Good day. Welcome again to the series with your brother Stephen Adei. We are continuing our session on living by strategy. Living by strategy. We have looked at the importance of being intentional about how you manage your life. And we have shared some of the core principles, the first being intentional about how you manage your life, intentionality. We moved on to talk about the need to have an anchor, something that will hold all the various aspects of your life together, whether it is spiritual, personal, relational, whatever, financial. There must be an underlying cross so that you know that they consist, or oftentimes people manage their life, some areas very well at the expense of the other. If you have a four-wheel drive, I'm not talking about four-wheel in the sense of the special expensive cars, but anything that moves on four, when one of them is not functioning, you are stuck. It's therefore important to have a consistency, and what defines it is your true north, or your anchor, or your organizing principle. We move on to look at your values also, because that determines how you go about things. The last time we met, I talked about the importance of a personal mission, what you live for at the end of it. What will you want to achieve? Because it's never enough to achieve one area and mess up the other areas. You become a successful failure. All the areas are important: your family, your marriage, your work, your finances, all of them. And therefore, but all of them must be working towards your life mission. What is going to be the end of it? And we shared a few insights as to how you can articulate a personal mission. What am I here on earth for? If I've all that I needed, what will I do? What would I like to be written on my tombstone? In other words, these things will help you to define your life mission. I believe as a Christian, I am here to live to glorify God and to be His instrument for blessing God, family, and country, which happens to be the motto of a school my wife and I founded. Because when your mission is clear, then other things are easier to define. And today, I'm going to go to a second level, because the purpose I mentioned, purpose-driven living. The first element is articulating a personal mission. The second, that must derive from your raison d'etre, or your purpose for living, is a clear vision. While the mission sums up all your life's end, a mission is best for the personal level to define it epocally. In other words, for stages of your life. Normally, few people can go beyond 10 years. If you can go for 20 years horizon, that's better. Younger person, 5 years is excellent. But there must be a time for which you want to achieve certain things. And Myers Monroe, in his book, The Principles and Power of Vision, makes it clear that a vision is a clear picture of a perfect future, or rather preferred future, a distinct direction or approach of accomplishing your mission. What does it mean? In other words, if you're a young person, 15 years, what do you want to accomplish by the time you are 25? If you are in 20s, by 40. When some people say life begins at, though life starts descending at 40, if the lifespan is 80 years. What is your middle age? What would you like to accomplish by the time you retire? And boy, when you reach 60 in Ghana, it's a retirement. When I was approaching 60, I wrote a strategic plan for my life from 60 to 70. And the title was Life Begins at 60. And boy, I enjoyed my 60 to 70, despite the challenges, including my wife's health breaking down and supporting her through. Then at 70, I had another 10-year one, which is titled Real Life Begins at 70. Now that I'm going to 76, I'm preparing for my next visions and then what I'm going to do for the 80 to 90. And probably the theme will be the Moses power. You know, Moses became the leader of his people at the age of 80. Great vision almost always precede great achievements, according to John Maxwell. One of the authors I read about in leadership says, the future is not a result of choices among alternative paths offered by the present, but a place that is created first in the mind and will, created next in activity. You have to create in your mind and in your will a future which you prefer as an individual. One of the management gurus many of you will hear about, might have read about, is Peter Drucker. And he says that the best way to predict the future is to create it. Wonderful. Oftentimes the vision will let you or bring together all your energies, mental, financial, physical, and other things towards its achievement. It is a wonderful thing that you should seek to articulate a personal vision. Lord, grant that I may always desire more than I can achieve. That is the statement by one of the Leonardo da Vinci. He had a great vision. And as a Christian, when you make your vision, let it be big. Because always you must have God in it. I don't like making visions which are just a mere projection from today. Yes, today must be taken account of. But only managers talk about, incremental 10%, 15%, then by 10 years I'll reach you. No! Visions allow you to do paradigm shifts. Great things. I remember when I was about 15 years old, finishing standard 7, that's the 10th grade then, knowing that the way to secondary school was blocked to me because of finances. I asked my teacher, "Sir, if you didn't go to secondary school, does it mean you cannot go to university?" He said, "You can." I said, "How?" He said, "By doing correspondence course." You know, 4 years from that time, I was in the University of Ghana with A-level. Paradigm shift from a village standard 7 to an undergrad. I finished my master's and came and taught those who had gone to Mfansipum and Achimota. They were my classmates who finished standard 7 before going to the secondary school. I came and taught them at the University of Ghana. The power of vision. But if you are a small bird, you don't say that tomorrow I'll be an eagle. No, it is within a certain sphere. And it must also reflect your stage in life. The 10-year vision or 5-year vision of a 10-year-old is different from that of a teenager. Should be that from that early adult, from a newly married, for one who has family, and for those of us who are enjoying our retirement. Your vision must reflect your stage in life. Your mission, if it is right, should be permanent. The actualization of it within an epoch or a time period should reflect whether you are a child, a teenager, young adult, middle age, mature person, or in your legacy years. The second thing about personal vision I discovered is that it should be double tunnel. In other words, two visions at the same time. Because if you are not careful, you will major on only one, and I'll tell you which of the two you'll be forced to major on and leave the other to your detriment. One is the vision, I call it, of accomplishment. Certain things. I want to get a degree. I want to get this amount of money. Even I want to marry and all the rest. Very great. In my job, I want to become a manager in 10 years. These are some things you concrete, you want to accomplish. And I think that they are important because then they are easily measurable and they give you the drive to pursue your mission. But there's another vision which should be parallel and must be pursued in tandem. That is the mission of being, B-E-I-N-G. In other words, what you become. Let me explain it. You become a millionaire by stealing. You have achieved the target of financial accomplishment, but you are a little person, possibly losing out in life and eventually going to hell. What you become had been sacrificed for what you have achieved. Sad to say, in this country, many people who are accomplished financially are glorified thieves. We call them corruption, corrupt people. That is glorified thief. And if they don't repent of it, sad to say, and yet true, they will end up in hell. And the Bible says, what shall it profit any man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? I want you to have a vision which one and at the same time allow you to achieve great things and still become a greater person whom you respect yourself. Unfortunately, the world will always measure on your accomplishments. All people talk about Stephen Adei in Ghana is about Gimpa, about turning a small institution to a full-fledged university, blah, blah, blah. That's okay. At least it opens up doors. When you go to a place and your alumni is alumnus is the head, at least he welcomes you and have some privileges. However, nobody will ever ask why he was there. Did he steal money or not? Did he destroy lives or not? These are issues that come into play. And remember, even people do not ask these questions, you yourself know whether you are a better person or someone having some badges of degrees and accomplishments, which, by the way, I'm not discouraging you to. But for individuals, and especially Christians, have a double vision, so to speak. The vision to accomplish things and the vision to become a better person. Then you will be great. And I wish you the best in that. Before I talk about the power of how powerful a clear vision, in other words, setting your goal within 10 years, 5, 10, or 15 years, or those who have long-term vision as much as 20 years can do for you. Let me say that Oftentimes, people say, how do I come up with a vision? Do I sit down and pray? Then the vision comes. Yes, as a Christian, you want to pray and be in line with God's purpose. You want to read the Bible. You want to know, what does God mean when I say, I have a plan for you? Plan for welfare, to give you a future and a hope. In other words, your vision must be in sync with God's purpose for you. However, you cannot end there like a cloud in the air. There are some sources of personal vision, and I'm taking a cue from the work of J.C. Maxwell, and I want to mention 4 of them. First, the inner voice. Voice of what you dream about. That's where the prayer and all of them, and every now and then, you have an inner voice speaking to you. I'm getting excited about a new aspect of my vision of accomplishment now that I'm going to 76. The other day I was doing my quiet time, talking about family life. And I said, but now I don't have any family in terms of those I'm looking after. If anything at all, they have to look after me. My youngest is 38 and an executive director. But then the Bible says God puts the lonely in homes. And it occurred to me, now that I don't have children to look after, and by God's grace, my grandchildren are sorted out, what will it be if I can foster 4 young people in my home? And if God gives me 10, 20 years, helping them to realize their dreams. Then it occurred to me, as I had conversation with my Lord, what about setting up a home, a Christian home, like one they call, that Hope Village, near Senyabreku, and I am going to visit them, to talk with them, and see whether supporting them to expand, or they are advising me to set up a home. In other words, this has come not by my just looking around, but by an inner voice, God giving me a prompting that in your old age, the best that you can do is to invest with children, in children who have no homes, and giving them home. So there's the inner voice. Another way of coming up with a vision is listening to what John Maxwell called it, the unhappy voice. What you cry about. In other words, oftentimes, some of us are only used to complaining. And if you live in Ghana, of course, there's blamania. If you don't blame Mahama, you blame Akufo-Addo. And soon you may get another person to blame. Yes, so you blame your parents for not taking you to Harvard. The question is that they themselves didn't have even primary school education. You want them to take you to Harvard. So blame, 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 blame. No. Whenever there's something that makes you angry, God may be giving you a vision out of it. When you are mad enough about corruption, there may be God is exciting you to be an anti-corruption crusader, to change the variable. And when we Ghanaians decide, the ordinary Ghanaian, who unfortunately is also a thief, who hasn't had an opportunity to realize it. But if we decide that we will change this vicious cycle of corruption, we can change it. When I was giving a lecture on leadership in Kenya, some wiser persons told me, I said that 200 people can change their country. This wiser man called me after my lecture and he says, no, you don't need 200, you need 50. I'm inclined to say that probably we need 10 Ghanaians who say that we are going to make life, as the world people would say, give hell to the thieves. So that those who are allegedly parking millions of cedis and dollars in rooms in their houses. We will fish them out until Ghana becomes clean. Listen, but all people don't have to, but small things. You see something which is not being done properly. You go to the shop and you don't even like the cake they are selling there, and you are someone who has the gift of making cakes. You make the best, and soon you become a cake millionaire. And on and on and on. When I felt dissatisfied, my wife and I must say, that there should be an elite private school in Ghana which is Christian. We set out to set up Ghana Christian International High School, period. In other words, when you are angry about something, you may derive a vision from it. Then, of course, what makes you happy? What makes you happy is that is the joyful part of the vision. If you like something, for example, I love my wife, I like family life, and therefore we went about setting up the family life mission and has impacted many people all around the world. So what you like can be the source of your vision. Then there's the successful voice, as Maxwell will put it. What you are good at may be the source of your vision. Look at what you are good at. Huh? Those people who know how to dribble, that is soccer. They are making millions of it. Is that Cisco or Samoja? It makes a shot, goal. He pursued it to become a successful footballer. So that can be the source of your vision. Finally, let me say the higher voice. When God speaks to you, listen carefully. I would like to add for younger people, you may get vision by talking to successful people, mentors, your seniors, even sometimes your friends. And please don't have a pocket-sized vision. I will continue with this next week. And those who have my book, Living by Strategy, you can follow that one, because what I'm sharing is being carved from chapter 8 of my book, that is, and it's titled The Power of Vision. Next week when we meet again, we will look at 10 characteristics of a good vision and the power of vision before we transit to the next stage of living by strategy, being purpose-driven. Shalom, and the Lord be with you till we meet again. Meet me again every Saturday on YouTube, Professor Stephen Adei on YouTube, and let me share some of the insights God has given me for free. In addition, please, for audio, every Saturday morning, ZFM 101.9. There, you will meet me, you will listen, and you will enjoy those who are part of the Z phenomena about business, entertainment, and national issues. The Lord be with you. Shalom.